Am I the asshole for allowing my brother to be homeless? My brother older Dave hasn't worked since 2020 when he was first laid off. His reasoning is he's not taking a job at a lower pay because it will hurt in his salary negotiation process. So he's not taking another job until he finds one that pays like his old job did. His wife left him because of this. In the divorce, Dave got the house. He's going through the foreclosing process now. He's run out of savings. He's looking for a place to stay, and I have an extra bedroom, but Dave is not coming here to freeload. He has to have a job. I'd settle for any job, even a part-time job, but Dave is still stubbornly insisting he's not working for less than he's worth. I finally got upset and said fine, be homeless. Dave was extremely pissed off that I wouldn't even consider taking him in until he finds this job. My family members are on me about how could I allow Dave to be homeless, but I don't see anyone else offering their spare rooms and couches to Dave. Not the asshole. Just the idea that he would get paid the same amount as his old job after being laid off and not working for 3 years is idiocy. Even if you or anyone in your family took him in, odds are he would stay jobless until he got kicked out. He needs a reality check. And if this is what it takes, then so be it. Not the asshole. I used to work at our county welfare department. I remember a man who was holding out for a high-paying job. I suggested he apply to UPS. He said no. He was too good to work at UPS. I remember thinking to myself, you're too proud to work at UPS, but you're not too proud to apply for welfare. Your brother appears to have a similar attitude. He's too proud to take just any job. But he's not too proud to mooch off of you. Don't let him. With his attitude, he may never find a job. And may never move out if you let him move in. Not the asshole might hurt him in the salary negotiation process. He knows he doesn't have to tell a potential employer that he's currently employed. He already has a gap in his resume. He's lazy. Not the asshole. He isn't homeless because his house burned down or his disability or whatever. He is homeless because he chooses to be. Work and pay your bills and have a wife and house, or do nothing and be homeless. He had options. He doesn't get to pick don't work and freeload off my unwilling relative. For what it is worth, I've been in a similar situation with my sister but years ago and did not let her move in. With perspective that comes with time, it most certainly the right decision for both of us. Not the asshole. Let's take a quick count of what he's lost. 1. His wife. 2. His house. 3. His pride. 4. His relationship with you. 5. Likely. More possessions than you know about. 6. His mind. Of all the things he hasn't lost. His dignity. He's chosen this hill to be homeless on. Your family should pick up his slack and not be butthurt that you won't. Your family tar as well. You've made good choices. Op. I'm sorry, but after 3 years out of work, a divorce and a foreclosure, Dave's not worth anything anymore, so he really should accept the fact that Noon's gonna pay him a lot. Dave allowed Dave to be homeless, not you. Not the asshole. You are not allowing your brother to be homeless. It is entirely his decision. You are under no obligation to provide free room and board for him. You presented a reasonable option for him to have a place he refused. If your family is upset, ask them, so why don't you let him stay with you? Then ask your brother, how is you plan working for you? Lost a job, a marriage, and a home. Doesn't seem to be panning out. Not the asshole. You aren't allowing anything to happen. Your brother is throwing his life away as fast as he can. This may be the wake-up call he needs. Dave is still stubbornly interesting. He's not working for less than he's worth. He's being paid exactly what he's worth at this point. Seriously. Any job is better than no job. And your stipulation is very reasonable. If the rest of the family feels so strongly that Dave should be able to stay somewhere while he's unemployed, they can open the doors to him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole send him to the family members' houses since they care about him so much. I read things like this and say to myself, it can't be real. Just stunning how the minds of some folks work. Not the asshole. Pride goeth before a fall. And your brother is falling hard but keeping that pride. Not the asshole. He needs a wake-up call to look for a job now. As you say, other family members can take him in. You didn't allow your brother to be homeless. He made that choice. Period. Not the asshole. You aren't allowing Dave to be homeless. Dave is allowing that himself by not getting a job. He thinks he's too good to have a lower paying job that he had before. Even though it's been 3 years and he still hasn't found one. But he's not too good to mooch off of everyone else. That doesn't make sense. And to your family members. Yeah, if they have a problem with Dave being homeless, then they are welcome to invite him to live off of them. Not the asshole. Your brother has had options. Your extra bedroom is just that, an extra bedroom. Not an option for him. He has no income and he's 42. His pride will allow him to let you support him but not take a lower paying job. Once his choice is living homeless and he does decide to get that job, make sure you have a legal lease in place. Personally, I would rescind the offer completely. How to know he won't quit after he moves in? Not the asshole. Your family members giving you grief over it can take him in for free if they care so much. My dad had this mentality. But everyone knew the longer you've been out of work, the harder it is to get the same pay when you come back. Don't do it. Not the asshole. Letting a freeloader into your home is a lot like bringing in bedbugs once they're in. It's basically impossible to get rid of them. Not the asshole. Brother has a bad case of denial. In truth, he'll never make what he did that wasn't penetrated by even the threat of losing his own home. He had plenty of time during that process to swallow his pride. Take any job and save his home. He chose not to. Also, if he had totally identified with his job, his ego could have taken such a blow that he's in a state of depression. Still, only he can fix himself. Hopefully, he'll get help. Not the asshole. The ones who disagree can take him themselves. Not the asshole. This reminds me of that scene in Christmas Vacation about Eddie being unemployed for over 10 years. Because, according to his wife, he's holding out for a management position. Not the asshole. He's been a deadbeat for 3 years for pride reasons. Someone will take him in. But it doesn't have to be you. Anyone that says something to you, reply, I'm glad to hear you're willing to take Dave in. I'll let him know. Dave is allowing Dave to be homeless, and if they care so much, let Dave move in with them. Am I the asshole for being rude to a woman who yelled at me for using the disabled toilet? I have an ileostomy. This means that I have had my colon removed and I have a stoma. This is on my stomach and it's where my poop comes out from into an attached bag. You usually can't see it and it doesn't look as though I have any kind of disability, although it is legally classed as a disability. To empty it I need to kneel by the toilet and I rinse it out with water. I fill a travel bottle up in the toilet and use this to rinse out the bag. Not rinsing is gross because of needing to kneel and have water on hand. I need to use the disabled toilets whenever I can. I have a radar key to get me into them. It was given to me after I had my surgery. Using a non-disabled toilet is very difficult. Hard to kneel. Very little privacy and no sink on hand. Today I was at MS and had to empty my bag, so used the disabled toilet as usual. FYI, almost all disabled toilets have signs on them that say not all disabilities are visible. When I tried to come out of the toilet, my way was blocked by a woman who started to berate me for using the disabled toilet. Apparently she saw me go in and had been waiting for me to come out. She was stopping me from leaving and threatening to call the staff. I tried to tell her that I need to use that toilet and showed her my special radar key. She just kept getting angrier and angrier and louder. We had a crowd by this time. In desperation, I finally pulled up my shirt and slid my trousers down a bit and showed her my ileostomy bag. I pointed out the sign on the door that said not all disabilities are visible. I told her she was ignorant, needed to learn to mind her own business. I then told her to F off and get out of my way. Am I the asshole for being so rude? I know I should have been nicer, but she would not stop blocking me in the toilet. Not the asshole. I had a friend once who parked in a disabled bay and was yelled at by someone nearby. He waited for them to finish, then removed his prosthetic leg. They went white as a sheet and got out of there pretty fast. If you are so much of an ass that you have a go at a stranger in public, boing nothing about them, you deserve everything you get if it blows up in your face. Am I the asshole for being so rude? I know I should have been nicer. You were exactly as rude as you needed to be. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Honestly, I hate people like this. One of my shittier encounters was also in an MS, where someone had seen me, decided I don't look disabled and gone to town. I don't know what narrative these people have in their heads. Whether or not they think they're standing up for disabled people by being absolute dicks. They're not. Not at all. They're just showing their ignorance. You were absolutely not the R for standing up for yourself. This lady was a bully and was trying to intimidate you. Not the asshole. That woman got exactly what she was asking for. She was rude, uncouth and ignorant. The only thing you did was highlight how big of an entitled R she was being. I too have an invisible disability, and it's hard when people want to judge just by what they can see. The disability toilet is for all disabilities, and in many places I've gone, it's also where the baby changing station happens to be located. Not the asshole. She decided to have a confrontation in a public toilet. Not you. Once she started yelling, all bets were off. You don't look disabled. You didn't look stupid until you opened your mouth. Not the asshole in any way, shape or form. How disgusting and entitled to judge someone solely based on appearance. Like you said, not all disabilities are visible. I hate that you were treated that way. Not the asshole. It's not like a parking spot. Even if you weren't disabled. Disabled bathrooms are disabled accessible, not reserved. Half the time they are also the only ones with a changing table. There's only one rude person in your story, and it's not you. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. These self-righteous disability gatekeepers make life more difficult for everyone. Absolutely not the asshole. Good heavens. What a rude person that lady is to think that blocking someone into a bathroom stall is even acceptable and then demeaning you on top of it. Yikes, I applaud your patience and many attempts at decency before resorting to exposing your medical condition like that. I had a friend years ago who also had a bag. And I learned a lot from her. So much delicate care anyway. Rest assured you are in no way at fault in this scenario. Blessings to you. I don't know about the US. But in Canada a disabled toilet is not treated the same as a disabled parking spot. They are to be used by anyone, though obviously if standard toilets are available a non-disabled person should use that. The disabled toilet is not restricted to disabled persons only. Not the asshole. I hope she felt really bad. Silly cow. Not the asshole. She absolutely deserved it. Sorry you had to go through that. Not the asshole. I hate these people who just assume they want to be a hero. But they're just being jerks, and oftentimes people like you who have invisible disabilities often get berated and yelled at for no reason. People. Mind your own business. Not the asshole. I have a bag too. Check my history. I mention it over the years. This has happened to me. I reacted exactly how you did. Sometimes. Showing it is the only thing that shuts people up. Not the asshole. Oh, honey, you weren't rude enough to that a hole. Not the asshole. She's in the same category as old people who are furious when a young person legitimately parks in a disabled bay. People like that need dressing down in public. Well done. You should not have been nicer at all. Her behavior did not warrant nicer. Her behavior warranted exactly what she got. Why should you explain your disability to her? It is zero business of hers. Who does she think she is to stand outside of a disabled toilet and assume? As the sign said, not all disabilities are visible. She is not the disability police to stand waiting to harass you for using a facility you need and are entitled to use without having to explain to people like that. Not the asshole. Why should you have been nicer? You should have been ruder, IMO. Not the asshole should have started with F off, mind your own business. Definitely not the asshole. People like this should mind their own business. Not the asshole. You should have had her arrested for blocking your way. That's illegal in many places. Not the asshole. You were not rude. You were defending yourself. I hate those self-appointed bathroom police people. Not the asshole. What you said was 100 spot on. She needs to mind her own business, and it was indeed time for her to F off. Not the asshole. Not every disability is visible. It doesn't even take a sign on the door to know that. Not the asshole. I'm sorry you felt you had to reveal that much about yourself to a stranger in public. You never should have needed to. That woman was so disgustingly out of line. You weren't rude. You were cornered, harassed, and did what you needed to do. I really don't understand the growing obsession with policing people's bathroom usage. Am I the asshole for refusing to cook for my wife anymore after she ate 3 of my meal-prepped meals? In my household, my wife doesn't cook. She sucks at it, and it's just easier on our taste buds if I cook for us. Earlier this year, we both decided that it was time for us to get back in shape. I decided to research some macro-calorie-friendly cooking recipes and got big into meal prepping. My wife stuck with it for a few weeks but ultimately decided to quit. Luckily, this wasn't too much of an issue for me. She's a nurse and frequently works much later than I do, as my typical workday is from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I would make my meal-prepped meals for the week on my off day, and then I would make dinner. like I did prior. When I meal prep, I make 6 days worth of 3 meals. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And just swap around lunch and dinner. Last week Thursday morning for work and planned on coming back Friday morning and stopping through home, grabbing anything I needed, then heading into the office. This was known for weeks in advance, so I didn't spring this on my wife. I figured that she would be able to make sure she and our kid got dinner that night and breakfast that next morning. The next morning, I'm running late and drive through home looking for my last breakfast and lunch for the weekend. They're gone. I don't have time to ask my wife, nor do I want to wake her up early before her shift, so I just go. I end up skipping breakfast and lunch. I get off of work and I'm starving and decide I'm just gonna eat dinner early, and when I look for my dinner for that night, it's not there. This is what set me off. When my wife gets home, I ask her what's up, and she admits to eating the meals. I tell her that I had portioned out food for an entire day, and she ate all of it in a single night. She said it was my fault as I didn't make anything for her and our kid to eat, and I just left the meal prepped things, so they had to eat those. We got into an argument and she told me I was being selfish. So now I decided that if I'm selfish for expecting her to feed herself for one night, I would just not cook anymore, as I'm doing a lot of work for a selfish person. For the past week, I made my meal prep meals and store them at work and let her figure out what she wants to do for dinner by herself. Of course, I still cook for our kid, but only one portion small enough for him to eat by himself. I told her I would keep this up and that she should learn to cook for herself if she's not happy about it. She told me that she's too tired when she comes home from work to cook and that I'm being incredibly petty. I think I'm justified and I'm pushing her to learn a life skill she should have by now. Am I the asshole? Is it petty? 100. Is it deserved petty? 100. To be called selfish because you expect her to figure something out for one night is ridiculous and insulting. Not the asshole. I'm going to say not the asshole. I think you've clearly established that you're meal prepping for yourself, as she no longer wanted to participate. She can't be that bad at cooking that she couldn't have made something easy for one night, or at least ordered takeout or something. Not the asshole. You clearly meal prepped for work. I'd be really upset if I thought I had food and my partner ate all of it, then had the nerve to call me petty when I'm the one cooking all the meals. She only had to make something else for one night. Even if you aren't a great cook, you should be able to feed yourself something. Not the asshole if she can't cook. They make these handy, pre-made meals you can purchase by the dozen and store in the freezer. Or she could order takeout. You made the same things she knows you make for yourself, but decided to take for them to eat. Not the asshole. Cooking is one of those things every adult should know and can learn. If she doesn't want to learn, then she can pay more for pre-packaged meals. Not the asshole. Both work. Both are exhausted after work, yet only one is willing to prepare food while the other person just calls them selfish due to them being incapable of preparing food whilst still being an adult. Man facepalming. Not the asshole. Wife needs to learn the moral behind don't bite the hand that feeds you. Tears of joy. Not the asshole. She's a grown woman with a child. No less. Grilled cheese. Spaghetti. Sandwiches. She's not helpless. Not the asshole. I do feel like the whole thing could have been handled a bit better, but I get it. Emotions can run high sometimes, especially if we're hungry. The thing I'm a bit confused about is could she not simply order a takeaway or something for that odd day? Even if a takeout sounds too expensive, you could always store some store-bought pre-cooked food for emergencies. Don't know why this can't easily be resolved. Not the asshole. She couldn't cook for herself and your child for one night. So she took your prepped meals and she called you selfish. Wow. Ain't that a twisted way of thinking? Not the asshole. If you hadn't prepped food, she would have figured something out. It's ridiculous how many grown-ass adults don't have basic life skills, man or woman. How the fuck do grown adults not know how to cook? It's an essential life skill. Not the asshole. When a man does what your wife is doing, we call it weaponized incompetence. Not the asshole. I have a feeling if she texted or called you to let you know she ate the meals, you would have been less upset than coming home hungry and expecting your dinner to be where you left it and it's gone. She is the one being selfish. I don't know how people can just say I suck at cooking and then continue to not improve and learn how to. This is literal childish shit. She can't learn to follow directions. She can't replicate what she sees in a YouTube cooking tutorial. How is this even something that's acceptable in today's society? Everyone who is good at cooking sucked at it when they first started, then they kept doing it until they got better FFS. Not the asshole. Just because she isn't a good cook doesn't mean she can't cook. Everyone can cook even the most simplest of meals. It's more annoying for you when you know you have something ready prepared for yourself and then you to get it and it's gone. Plus that's no excuse that she won't cook because she's tired after work. Lots of people feel that, but they know they have to do it. Not the asshole. She is a grown woman. She can cook for herself. I would have been livid if my husband did that. Not the asshole. Every adult has at least one meal they can make. It's just the basics of adult ingredients. And I refuse to believe she could have ordered a takeaway if necessary. Not the asshole. She needs to learn how to cook for many reasons. You can't always be there. She has a child to feed. Plus if she is too tired to cook every day, then she can do like you do. Cook enough for the week on her days off. I don't cook, I hate it. But anyone can pour a bowl of cereal or make a PBJ for one night. I'd kill to have a cooking partner. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I know lunch and tea can be a faff. I hate cooking, but how is breakfast so difficult that she needed to take your prepped ones? Cereal, milk, bowl, spoon, job done. One doesn't need to know anything about cooking to boil some pasta or fry a hamburger patty. She's just gotten used to you doing it and is taking it for granted. I love to cook, but sometimes my favorite meal is a rotisserie chicken sandwich or mac and cheese with hamburger. She's being very selfish and immature. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for showing my sister's boyfriend her childhood photos? I am F21. My sister is F23. My sis, for the sake of anonymity I will call her Cass, is pretty now. But to be honest, that hasn't always been true. Of the two of us, I was always considered the prettier sister. I don't mean this badly, but I do know what people meant by this. I am conventionally attractive, long blonde hair, green eyes, tall, slim, and she is on the shorter side. Naturally frizzy dark hair. Used to be 10 pounds heavier than she should have been at 5 feet 3. And chubbier in the face. Because of this, Cass grew up extremely insecure and would take it out on me and attempt to sabotage me anytime something in my life was going better for me than for her. For example, even though I'm younger, I got engaged before her. My wedding is in October. My sister already has her dress for the wedding, and what do you know? It's the closest shade to white as it can be, champagne and ugly AF. I've put it behind me, but I feel her jealousy and insecurities have put a wedge in our relationship. Recently, Cass got into a relationship with her current boyfriend. Their relationship has surprisingly been going really well. I guess she finally found a guy who can handle her pettiness, lol. About a year before this relationship, she got a nose job, started working out, changed her hair, and just looks a lot better. As shallow as this may sound, I am recently less embarrassed to introduce her to people ever since she has been putting in effort. As shallow as this may sound, I am recently less embarrassed to introduce her to people ever since she has been putting in effort. You're the asshole. Anything else you said is completely irrelevant and hard to believe. Because it comes from someone as ugly on the inside as you are. You're the one who sounds jealous and petty. And you're most definitely an the asshole. You're the asshole. You sound jealous and insecure. Acting this petty at your age. Grow up. You're the asshole. 10 pounds heavier than she should have been. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're the asshole. You did it to hurt her. That's the end of it. Do you read what you write? Maybe you're so narcissistic that you can't even hear how shallow and mean and insufferable you sound. I think you fear no one has ever wanted to be with you for who you are. And you therefore are appearance obsessed. Sounds like you're jealous your sister found someone who loves her. Honestly, you sound unbearably cruel. I feel sorry for your sister. I sincerely hope you aren't as mean as this story makes you sound. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Try basing your self-worth on something that isn't. I'm so pretty and my sister is so ugly. Used to be 10 pounds heavier than she should have been at 5'3". Well, this is where I quit reading and determined you're the asshole. This has to be fake because there's no way you're that cruel of a person. This reads is insanely insecure and jealous on your part. Well, someone's jealous and insecure. But it doesn't sound like your sister. Take a look in the mirror. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Why would you ever be embarrassed to introduce your sister to other people? I can tell by your snide offhand remarks and what you showed her boyfriend that you just have a vitriol for her that has no purpose. Just leave her alone and stop being immature because yes, you were the immature and disrespectful one here. The fact that you posted this trying to say how entitled, jealous and petty your sister is. But you are the one coming across this way. You're the asshole. I can't believe you pulled up picture of children. Regardless that it is you. To make a vindictive point. You're awful. You're the asshole and an ugly person. You're the asshole. I get that you're barely a legal adult in this world, but how do you figure you weren't the asshole? She says one thing and you decide to bring out old pictures of her to embarrass her. How immature are you? Both you and her boyfriend sound shallow because honestly, if her boyfriend actually cared about her, he would have told you he didn't care what pictures you had on your phone. You also sound shallow for saying you're less embarrassed to introduce her as your sister. Like, don't you know that beauty fades but dumb is forever? Info: she picked out her own dress color. Is she not a bridesmaid? I'd like reassurance. You should have this tattooed on your forehead. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Did you read your own writing before you posted? You come off incredibly petty and it's immature as hell. You're the asshole. At your big ass age. You're the asshole, rest assured. You are a petty asshole who is jealous of their sister. Op is clearly you're the asshole. But I want to place a wager that the sister's dress isn't actually as close to white as OP claims. I need a pick eyes. Who needs enemies if you have a sister like you? Buh. The icy attitude is dripping. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. My annoyance led to me realizing Cass's boyfriend probably has no idea what she used to look like prior to her glow up, as I doubt Cass showed him any photos. What has your sister's looks has to fucking do with her behavior or how she is as a person? You seem 1000 petty and insecure as hell that your previously uglier sister now did a teenage glow up and looks better than you, has a more happy life. Instead of being petty CT. Look in the mirror because the only ugly person is you. FFS. You're the asshole, jealous, insecure, and ugly. Complete. You're the asshole, petty, insecure, and extremely jealous. I would have given you Esh, but you took it to extremes by not only being a bully, but literally fat shaming how she was as a kid to her BF. You sound insufferable. Wow, just wow. You had an agenda and your contempt for her just spills. You are just evil. Horrible, and no wonder your sister has a problem with you. You just said I loved the fact I was the favorite, the better one, but now my sister is actually on par with me. I'm going to do anything to make sure she goes back to that insecure little girl. There's nothing beautiful about PPL like you with ugly hearts. Dang girl. Sounds like you're the one lucky enough to find someone who will put up with your bullying and pettiness. You're the asshole. YTA. Firstly, your explanations of why you may be the R are 100 on point. Cass clearly has issues and was an R with her dress and being a petty person sister. You seem to have your act together, and your BF was correct that you reached back to sibling rivalry mode and couldn't help but pull out a photo for the sole purpose of embarrassing Cass. Your post makes you seem to be better than this. You're the asshole. You sound like a full of yourself all-round unpleasant girl. You sound ugly AF under the surface. When age starts to tighten its grip on you guys, I hope it disproportionately grips you over your sister and the roles are reversed for a time. You'd see a whole different world. YTA. You're the asshole. And yes, you are as shallow as you sound. And your fiancé is beginning to see it too. You'd like reassurance? Good luck with that. You're the asshole. Holy shit, you're the asshole. 10 pounds heavier than she should have been. You are going to age badly and fast, and I hope it happens soon. I hope karma hits you like a truck for all this. You're the insecure one now. Not her. For some reason, whenever someone self-describes as slim, I know they're going to be the worst. Am I the asshole for refusing to host a birthday party because my nephew isn't allowed in my house? I 24F live on a 4-acre property that I bought for cheap from my grandma who moved to a retirement community. My nephew is turning 16 at the end of the month. My sister asked if we could host his party here on the family property, meaning at my house. I told her no, because my nephew is not allowed at my house. My nephew does not respect boundaries and treats everything like his plaything, including the boundaries of my older black lab, Davos. He constantly chases him around and tries to pick him up despite me telling him to constantly leave him alone. Davos has arthritis and can't be chased around and hates loud noises, which my nephew is very loud. As far as I know, he is neurotypical. My sister blew up at me telling me I was putting a dog before my nephew and it was grandma's property that I can't dictate. I told her it was my property. I bought it and tended it and pay all the bills for it. My mom called me and asked if I could just put Davos in a room during the party and suck it up for just a day. But I said no. This is his house and he's allowed to go wherever he wants, and I won't shut him in a room. Now my family is divided. Some of them calling me immature and selfish and others saying I'm right. While some, including my father, refuse to get involved. Am I the asshole? Edit to add BC. I've gotten this question a couple times. If the other members of the family were offered the house. My nana and I have always had a very close relationship. And I've helped her tend the property for as long as I can remember. So she offered to sell it to me when she grew too old to tend to it herself. So no. Other family members weren't given the opportunity to buy it, but they also weren't interested in it. It is very old and outdated, and my sister especially always talked about how much she hated the aesthetic of the house. The sole reason she wants to host it here is because my house has the most space. It's not a sentimental space for her. Someone identified me, so unfortunately I have to take down the dog tax. Thank you, all kind people of Reddit. Your nephew and his mother are learning that actions have consequences. Best birthday gift you could give him. Not the asshole. I had to reread the nephew's age. 16. Not the asshole. Only shitty PPL chase and pick up old dogs. Not the asshole, but could the nephew be put in a room, lol. This sounds very familiar. As I have a beach house I inherited from my grandfather and had to take out a mortgage to pay my sister off for her share of it. To this day she still calls it our beach house and tries to demand use of it because it belongs to the family. Every time I remind her about the enormous check I handed her and ask her if that is still our money. Not the asshole. By 16. Your nephew should be able to follow instructions. Since your sister won't make him. He hasn't. You do not have to put your pet in a room so he can have his party there. There is no family property. Just your property. Your sis can have Damien's birthday party someplace else. Not the asshole. A 16-year-old with no disabilities who doesn't know how to leave a dog alone. He needs to grow up, and definitely your house. Not family property. Not the asshole. It is your house. You bought it. You own it. It is not a family property anymore. Your sister is shitty to assume you will host the party. Why on earth doesn't she? And the 16-year-old sounds horrible. I wouldn't want them in my house either. If anyone treated my cat like that, they would be banned for life. No is a complete sentence. Say it and stick to it. Not the asshole. Why do people make excuses for kids acting badly? It's your house and you can't just lock an animal away all day. They need to be able to move around and relieve themselves. Your sister can host. So what I'm seeing is that your sister is the real red flag here. Doesn't seem like she disciplined your nephew. And now he gets to do whatever he wants. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Fuck any family member who says you are. You purchased this property. This is your home. Not the family home. No is a complete sentence. Tell your family to fuck off. Here's your script. No. Not the asshole. If you suck it up, then you are basically just accepting his behavior. And we both know it won't just be this once. He is old enough to understand his behavior is wrong, and if he doesn't care, then you have no obligation to allow him into your house. So this is what becomes of those screeching 5-year-olds with no boundaries because they are so cute. And after all, they are just kids. Not the asshole, obviously. Not the asshole. The kid is turning 16 and can't be trusted around an old dog. Our stuff. For sure. Pretending your property belongs to the whole family is our stuff too. So I'm not on your sister's side either. Not the asshole. It also sounds more like the behavior of a 6-year-old than a 16-year-old. Not the asshole. Maybe a group text to mom, sister and nephew is in order. Just a reminder. My home is not a family property. It is ridiculous to try to force me to host a party for an individual whose history has shown an inability to act their age. Makes a game of violating normal societal boundaries and due to past actions have been banned from my home. My refusal to host is solely based on nephew's past actions that I can't trust him not to repeat. This is a 15-16-year-old. Yeah. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It is a good moment to put your foot down and squash this family property stuff. Your sister can rent a dog-free venue and I guess you won't be invited to the party. Not the asshole. Your house, your rules. There's nothing more to be said. Not the asshole. 16 is too old to have spell out good behavior and the expectation of that. We learn in kindergarten it's not yours, leave it alone. We also learn to respect others, and if he can't respect your house rules and his parents did not raise him correctly to show respect for others, then that is on them. Good for you for standing up for Davos, you are his only advocate. Tell your sister had she raised him with better rules and consequences, this would not be a problem. She made her bed, now she gets to lie it in. Not the asshole. You have the right to decide what happens on your property for whatever reason. And don't you love how people who aren't paying the bills like to call it family property? Not the asshole. Your house, your rules. Dog lives there. Nephew doesn't. Not the asshole. It's probably a good idea to place this boundary now because it sounds like your sister still views your home property as belonging to the family. The reality is, as you stated, it belongs solely to you. Your sister and your mother want you to overlook how you feel when your nephew disrespects your dog and stuff. You are right to not listen to them but to yourself here. You bought the house. And your entitled family still thinks it's theirs to do with as they please. Hold your boundary and teach them otherwise. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's your property now and sounds like your nephew is an asshole. How about your sister learns to control her kid, then she can talk to you about it. Am I the asshole for hurting my friend's feelings at her engagement party? I never wanted kids. My husband too. But life happened and now we care for my 2 little nephews. 5-year-old twins. It was an easy decision for the both of us. I'm not saying I regret anything, but it's not easy. Especially with little kids that are traumatized. Many of our friends, many who are child-free, have been great. They're especially understanding to the fact that though we didn't give birth to them, we are now parents and the kids are our first priority. They also understand that we can't hire babysitters or ask anyone else to watch the kids due to several reasons. We had to skip one wedding. And another couple allowed us to bring the boys to their originally child-free wedding. Both couples were happy and there are no hard feelings between us. Now, another friend is getting married and she knows what's up as well. When we declined her invitation to her engagement party that would just be adults due to alcohol and other kinds of adult activities, she called me and begged me to come. I said I'd try my best. My husband and I decided that he would watch the kids on his own while I went. While I was getting ready, the boys were watching me and they started to cry because they realized I was going out. This caused me to be late. I apologized to her and while she said it was okay, I could tell she was slightly hurt. Regardless, I tried to have a good time with her and other friends. I didn't drink any alcohol but she kept trying to make me. Then my husband texted me a couple hours in saying that one nephew is refusing to eat and the other is screaming. I stepped outside for 10 minutes to call them and when the boys calmed down enough, I went back in. At this point, my friend looked angry. I had apparently missed a speech. She said I ruined the entire night by stressing her out with my attitude. She even accused me of thinking that I was better than her because I'm a parent now and she isn't. I told her that isn't true and I didn't mean to ruin her night but I'm sorry. She told me to fuck off and said something like it's a few hours. Those kids don't have to be on your mind all the time and I was just going to leave but I felt so insulted. I told her that she can't put her night being ruined on me and I'm sorry she had a terrible night. Because I didn't drink and because I refused to forget about my kids for a couple hours but her feeling hurt is not my responsibility and she can figure it out herself. She started crying and our friends kindly told me to just leave. While they all understand my position, they think I should apologize because it's her party wedding. And I did hurt her after all. I haven't been thinking about this much but I have some free time and I just got a text from said friend telling me that I'm uninvited from her actual wedding. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You say your friends understand. Even her. But they clearly don't. Especially her. Someone being late to a party is not a reason for the host to be upset. Someone not drinking at a party is not a reason for the host to be upset. Someone stepping out for a few minutes is not a reason for the host to be upset. Every friend that thinks you ruined her party and hurt her doesn't get it. They are the assholes. You owe none of them an apology. But you need to ask yourself if they still deserve a space in your life. That type of negativity is never needed. Especially in your situation. Not the asshole. You decline an invitation. She begged you to come. And you did to make her happy. Yes, you were late but you were there. Which is what matters. Also 10 minutes to calm down a child is not much. Let alone 2. If your presence was mandatory for the speech. You should have been informed before leaving or they could have waited. What if instead of a call you had to go to the bathroom? Or anything the like. Also I hate people trying to force you to drink. Parents or not. No matter the context. Being intoxicated should be a choice. Unless you are not telling the whole story. Not the asshole. Did you make a scene? Did you loudly announce to the whole room that you had to call the kids? I assume not. You were late but you apologized for that. All in all, no behavior that ruins the whole night. And honestly, why is she so focused on you when it is her engagement party? Maybe let her cool down and talk again if you feel like it. Not the asshole. Your friend is incredibly selfish and her night being ruined is on her and her entitled attitude. Not on you. Brides sound like the type who thinks the guests need to put lives on hold for a whole year. Until the grand wedding happens. How dare you care about your kids while she, the only worthy and bestest bride to be, is partying op. Not the asshole, of course. If your friends make you question this, drop them too. Your kids come first. Hope they're in therapy to help them cope. You're a good parent. Not the asshole at all. When we adopted our nephew 3 at the time, we thought he would be okay at daycare. He was previously going. He screamed and cried for hours in a way that breaks your heart. So much so that we couldn't leave. At least one of us needed to be with him. Your friend doesn't understand this. And that's okay, but it's not okay for her to treat you like your current situation isn't important. Time to find some new friends with kids. Not the asshole. Good grief, this isn't a friend. I don't know what you should call her. But being uninvited to her wedding is a win in my book. I don't understand when weddings went from a celebration of life to a celebration of the bride's life. What a shame. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. For her to tell you to fuck off just for politely stepping out to take a call is just entirely inappropriate. She overreacted and now has ruined a good friendship. If she was sad about not being able to spend as much time together and wanted to express that to you, she could have done that. It's sad to see that she instead got angry and took things out on you. Not the asshole. For sure. You stepped up to a bad situation and are doing your best for those 2 little ones. Your friend sucks. I didn't drink any alcohol, but she kept trying to make me. I really don't get people like this. Is perfectly acceptable for anyone to refuse to drink. Not the asshole. Your friend sounds jealous of the attention the kids get. Which is weird. Not the asshole. Your friend seems to think the universe revolves around her and she should have your complete, undivided attention. She sounds awful. That you are uninvited from the wedding is a blessing. You will be better off without her in your life. Good luck with the boys. Sounds like therapy all round would be helpful. Don't you dare apologize. Not the asshole. But damn, your friend isn't much of a friend. Trying to make your drink after you've said no. Princess much. Does she have other narc tendencies? Not the asshole. She made you the center of her event by centering you at every turn. She begged you to come knowing you have different responsibilities now. You didn't take the call in the middle of the event. You stepped away. You told her you weren't drinking. And she kept pushing. It seems like she has more pinned up feelings than she is leading on. Am I the asshole for canceling and letting my wife go on a weekend break alone? Myself and my wife have been married for 6 years. Things have not been so great the last months. She suggested that we go away for the weekend and we booked a weekend break in Amsterdam. We both live in Bath. So not a long flight for us. I work for an American company on West Coast hours. So finish work a lot later than her. But I was able to make arrangements to finish early on Thursday. Our flight was Friday morning. She has class after work on Thursdays. It is an online course. So not that taxing, and she didn't need to leave the house to go. She starts work at 9 a.m. and finished at 5:30 p.m. Her class runs from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. When she finished work, she came into my office. I work from home as well. Told me she was going to pack as she had to get up at 6 the next morning to drive. I told her that was not okay. That we both had to clean up. That she should start. And that when I finished in 2 hours I would help her finish off cleaning the house. She said she was tired and had been in front of her desk for 13 hours. This is a lie. She had a half-hour break between 5:30 and 6. She also has a lot of freedom from her job and constantly leaves her PC for 20 and 30 minutes during the day. I told her I didn't think it was fair that I would have to clean the house on my own. She shot back that I should NT and that it would be fine when we got back. I hate coming back from vacation to a dirty house. I told her that is she wasn't willing to help me clean the house. I wasn't going away in the morning. She said fine, told me to you do you. She packed her bag and went to bed. I slept in the spare room and she woke me the next morning, asking where my bag was. I told her I hadn't packed and wasn't going anywhere. She flies back tomorrow morning. We have been texting back and forth and she hasn't said anything about me not coming. My mom and dad think I was right not to go. But my best friend said I was being unreasonable. Is my wife going to leave me? X200B. Am I the asshole for not going on a weekend break when my wife refused to help me clean the house? You're the asshole. You sound insufferable. You're the asshole. You essentially told her the neatness of your house while you aren't even in. It is more important than your marriage. You work West Coast hours. Didn't you have all morning to clean? How long did you work that day? You're the asshole. You seriously ruined valuable time with your wife because of a messy house. Housework could have waited. You realize you just put the importance of housework above the importance of your marriage, right? You say the last few months haven't been great. Yet you pull this. Oof. Well, I hope you cleaned the damned house during your weekend alone. After all, you do so hate coming home to a messy house. You're the asshole. So she worked 9-10 p.m. whilst you worked 8 hours on a different time zone setting. You could have cleaned the house in the morning before you started work. But I guess that would have inconvenienced your sleep. You're the asshole. Let's hope she divorces and takes you to the cleaners. You have no respect for her and you're a clueless asshat. I hate coming back from vacation to a dirty house. Then clean the house. It's not rocket science. Also, it's just a weekend, and as you said, things were going not so great in the marriage for a few months. And you choose to fight over cleaning. Edit to vote. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. This was a chance to spend quality time with your wife when you know you've had rough times, and just because you didn't want to come home to a dirty house, what would happen? As long as the dishes are done, that's really all that is an issue. Sure, clutter is a downer, but it's not the end of the world. You threw a tantrum and chose not to join your wife. You sound like you're too busy marking points in a column for who is busier than focusing on enjoying a trip together. Your wife seems to be trying to work on your marriage. You seem to find more joy in demeaning her and pouting. Yes. She should leave you if you refuse to put work into the relationship. If you think she does nothing important all day long. Can you list 5 things you like about your wife? You're the asshole. You are childish and petty. Letting my wife go on a weekend break alone. Letting her. She might decide that she enjoyed going without you. It's something to think about. You're the asshole. Statistically speaking, most people just one partner decide it's time to divorce upon returning from vacation. I hope you used the weekend to clean the house. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. I hate coming home to a dirty house. Is a you problem, not an us problem. This is the funniest shit I read. If you feel like she might leave you, then you already know you are an R. Who cancels a whole trip over a petty argument? WTF is wrong with you? Everything else aside, the argument was your fault to begin with. I hope she does leave you, because this trip was to rekindle your marriage and you didn't even bother to put enough effort to go let alone rekindle anything. You're the asshole. And side note, obviously your parents will be on your side. Face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes. You're the asshole. How could you not even think this? I hate coming back from vacation to a dirty house. All your anger issues, not hers. I can see why things haven't been great recently. Maybe get a better attitude. Yours sucks. So she has to work for 13h a day and do at least 2 hours of cleaning, and you work 11h and might help at the end. Say there is 1 hour of cleaning left at the end, then she would work 16h and you 12h, and she has to drive in the morning, which is dangerous when you are tired. YTA. She definitely should leave you. You're the asshole. Are you looking for an excuse to leave your marriage? You are an emotionally abusive manipulator. Please get help, and I hope your wife wakes up and leaves you if this is how you treat her. Your whole post screams you're the asshole. The weekend thing is not even the biggest part. YTA. You both sound stressed. And this trip was a chance to relax and reinforce your bond. And let's be real. Your wife leaving you was less of an issue than you coming home to a dirty home. And frankly, every time I've heard someone say you do you, the person is like 2 steps from checking out completely. IDK if she's going to leave you. But you two are definitely close to breaking the camel's back. You're the asshole. You are so condescending about your wife's work and schooling. And so pompous about your own worth and getting your own way. If you wanted to make your problems worse and make your wife think you might not be worth the effort, you succeeded. I'm guessing she hates coming home from vacation to a house full of an R. She'll dump you sooner or later. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. Op. Hope the clean house was worth it. She deserves so much better. Anyone else here listen to the jolly good ginger guy on TikTok? I keep thinking that our wife should divorce this guy ASAP. Just me? YTA. The marriage is over. My wife and I must just be good people. This damn sub has me confused as hell sometimes. Ah. You're the asshole. You are toxic and abusive. You don't own her, you don't tell her to clean and allow her to go on a trip. I hope she divorces you. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend I don't want his mom to live with us someday? My boyfriend M25 and IF26 have been together for a year and a half. His parents are divorced and his mom recently moved back from CA because she was able to leech off relatives for a few years and left her 3 kids behind. His mom will ask him to Venmo her for non-essentials like alcohol and weed. My boyfriend doesn't even smoke and will make him pick up the weed for her. It's illegal in this state. She's an alcoholic and showed up to his birthday dinner at a very nice restaurant plastered. Embarrassed us all. She held a service job for a month and quit because she didn't like her coworkers. She has yet to find or look for a new job for over 6 months. She's currently living off the $40K that she received in the divorce settlement, and we all know $40K runs out quick. The other day, my boyfriend told me he wanted to build a home alongside ours for his mother to live in and provide her at-home care. I told him I would end the relationship because I don't want to deal with that stress or be responsible for her. And I certainly don't want my future kids to be around her all the time. She has the mouth of sailor and drinks from morning to night. Am I the asshole for giving him the ultimatum that she cannot live with us someday and he should not be giving her money for non-essential vices? He feels responsible for her since he's the oldest son. Just to be clear, if she made a decent effort to get a job and support herself and still couldn't put food on her table or pay rent, then by all means I'd be willing to help her. Thank you in advance. Not the asshole. He's enabling an addict. Any recovered addict will tell you that having an enabler is not helpful. He needs to stop helping her ASAP. Not the asshole. This would be a deal breaker for me. Not the asshole. Part of dating is learning if you are compatible with the other person. Your partner wants to provide significant assistance to extended family. You don't. That seems like a compatibility issue to me. Not the asshole. This is your hill to die on, and honestly I wouldn't consider this relationship further because he yet to stand up to mommy dearest. He's not going to, so you need an exit plan. The only asshole you are being is to yourself for being in this exhausting relationship. He's not going to change. Mommy is not going to change. See yourself out. Not the asshole. He's not going to like your stance. You'll probably break up over it. But better now than after marriage and children. Not the asshole. If that ever happens, you will be fully supporting his mom forever. Not the asshole. He feels responsible because of alcoholic codependency that frequently comes with being a child of a drunk. He should go to Al-Anon or therapy. If he refuses, I'd run. Not the asshole. But you need to realize you're simply not compatible. She is his family, and if you get married, she will become your family. Like it or not. I'd get while the getting's good. If you catch my meaning. Not the asshole. Speculating on her age at about 45. You could be taking care of her for about 40 years. Not the asshole. You need to really agree to that. Even write an email. So that you can't look back in time and be like, I thought we were on the same page. BC, it sounds like a deal breaker and you don't want to figure that out once you have married and have kids. Not the asshole. It's perfectly fine to not want your partner's parents living with you. You don't even really need a good reason. Not the asshole. It was smart of you to be so forthright about the matter. This proposed home hasn't even been started yet. You made your feelings clear. And if he doesn't like that, he can choose to leave. Not the asshole. Run. Do it now. Do it fast. Don't look back. Save yourself. Not the asshole for not wanting to support and enable an addict. Not the asshole. You need to think really hard about if your BF is worth having his mother in your life permanently. She isn't going anywhere. She isn't interested in changing. Your BF is always going to feel responsible for her. This will always be a source of strife in your relationship. You are young, you can find someone you love without this baggage. Not the asshole. He's also enabling her alcoholism and weed habit, which aren't necessities. As long as you stay with him, he will keep giving his leeches large sums of money that will never end. That's money that could be going towards a house, retirement, or raising future children. Mill will tell you how to raise your kids too. Blair. I'd be outta there. Not the asshole. Good thing you got this out there now and not after you got married or bought property together. I'd be very careful about commingling finances as well. As soon as she's out of money, your BF will be her ATM. Not the asshole. You have a boyfriend and his mother problem. Him wanting her to live with you nearby is a huge red flag, and it's a relationship killer. She's an active alcoholic and not your responsibility or even his. He is, however, currently enabling her and her alcohol addiction, and that is a very unhealthy thing. Not the asshole. Truly loving a person is not supporting their habits when they are putting themselves in harm's way. Ask your boyfriend instead of providing her vices, maybe put her in a rehab program. If he disagrees and continues to support someone not willing themselves, then get out while you can. You should not have to subject yourself to an unhealthy relationship between himself and his mother. Not the asshole. Better to set the line now. This is unacceptable behavior. Not the asshole. Can you stop by the store and get me some bananas and you pick up my weed from the corner of 6th and Franklin? No time for a new BF. He's never going to abandon his mother, and it sounds like she's not gonna change. Not the asshole. I'd bet my house she will wind up living with your BF one day. She is the top priority in his life. Unless he has a real come-to-Jesus moment. That won't change. This would be a deal-breaker to me even without her being an alcoholic pothead. I'd break up with him. Honestly. It sucks. But will suck worse later. Not the asshole. You need to be clear about this because you don't want this to be an issue down the road. Make sure he knows that this is a boundary that you will not back down on. Not the asshole. And you're very lucky you found out early in your relationship that your BF is an enabling mamas. Boy. This will never change. Get out now while you can. No matter what promises he makes to you on her behalf. I've been in this situation. My wife and I had my Sil live with us for the first 1.5 years of our marriage. Then we had her grandmother for 5 years a few years later. We almost took my mom after she major issues with my dad, but she went back and she passed shortly afterwards. However, my wife made it clear my sister was a no-go. And with good reason. Quite frankly. I wouldn't want that. But that doesn't stop me from feeling guilty. You have legitimate reasons. You're not just saying no because it's an inconvenience. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not many people would say it. But I think most of us wouldn't want to live next door to our in-laws. It's better to let him know now, rather than 5 years from now, that this is a deal breaker for you. As it ought to be. Your BF needs to establish boundaries with his mom, or this is going to be happening forever.